Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
And Nick, this week, well, we've had my uncle and my cousin on. So this week, we're having my aunt and my other cousin on. Hello, everybody. Everybody say hello to
Hi.
Aunt Amanda and my cousin Ashlyn. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Good. If you're new here, you guys have watched, hopefully, something. I don't know, really. But anyway, if anybody else is new here, this is a podcast where we talk about whatever we want to. This week, we're talking about true crime, because we do that a lot. But
Yeah.
we're gonna get into a case here in a minute. But anyway, how was everybody's week? Everybody doing good? Anything interesting that happened? Fun? Nothing?
No, I got nothing.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was telling them before we started. Well, and you, Kev, you were there also.
Yeah. I was.
But it's Taylor Swift Day.
It is Taylor Swift Day.
And tomorrow's Chapel Roan Day. So big day for any person who likes pop music. I don't know. Yeah.
Why is 10? What makes 10/3 Taylor Swift Day?
Her new album dropped today.
Well, I know that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It's
that's
Taylor
it?
Swift Day.
Oh, okay. There wasn't anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. Okay. That works. Yeah, I knew that happened, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what is tomorrow Chapel Roan's birthday? Is that what makes that Chapel
Oh
Roan
no,
Day?
it's just Chapel Roan Day in my world.
In your world, okay.
I'm going to the show. So yeah.
Got it. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So
It is cool. Sorry.
No, you're
I know
fine.
you were probably about to transition.
Here.
I don't know if you guys saw, I just thought of this. Did you see, it was in all the newspapers and social media and everything, the murals and everything, and like the Kansas City streetcar got totally, redone for her concert and everything, for Chapel, not for Taylor, because she credits Kansas City to like the start of like her niche, music career. Anyway, so Kansas City went all out and I'm like loving it.
Exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I have heard her say that did hear her say once that she'd rather have Andy's over a Grammy, so that was,
And she went to Andy's.
Yeah.
Andy's post. Yeah, I know, right? I'd also rather have Andy's.
Don't
But
blame her.
Andy's posted a picture of her visiting last night, so
Aw.
she did get her Andy's.
Yeah. If you're
Well, she
not,
got both, didn't she?
yeah, she's
Yeah.
got both now. Yeah, if you're not from around here or anywhere that has one, Andy's is a frozen custard franchise that is growing around the country, but it's pretty good, but it's local from around here. So
But she's from your all's neck of the woods,
Yeah.
but
She
came up to
is.
Kansas City a lot for shows. So
So, anyway, this week we are talking about, I said true crime, specifically the case of Amy Bradley, who went missing in 1998 while on a cruise. And yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories around where she went missing. Her parents are still looking for her. There is no cases still open with the FBI. But Nick, what?
Yep, the active missing persons poster says the FBI is offering a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to the recovery of Amy Lynn Bradley. And then they give the details. So Amy Lynn Bradley, while on a family cruise to the Caribbean, went missing from the Royal Caribbean International Cruise Line Rhapsody of the Seas. And then it gives a timeline of like the dates and everything. And when the vessel later returned to Puerto Rico. But yeah, interesting that this is still very much an active case from so long ago, because her family, I mean, it's heart-wrenching to see like the documentary. I'm assuming you guys watched like the Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, my heart just breaks for her family, like them still looking and not knowing. I hate that.
I even watched a YouTube video that was released that her brother did. It was just her brother. And it you could just still feel the pain after all these years when he's doing these interviews. And they said a lot of times when they did so many, it was just like retelling it and going through it all over and over and over again. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like losing a sibling, losing a child like that, but not knowing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my heart breaks. But Yeah, so very much still an active case. I'll send the link to Kev so he can post like the missing persons flyer and everything. Um, yeah, very, very interesting.
Yes.
Well, and what I learned from there is apparently because it's been going on for so long, they did a lot of local shows like Dr. Phil and Unsolved Mysteries, but those were all just like US based. So the thing about Netflix was they were really hopeful that it could get out further with all the countries that Netflix is
Oh,
streamed on.
Okay, that makes sense.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they did have a kid from Australia that was on there that was talking about like how he used the internet to kind of help them grow the case too and stuff like that. So, yeah, because
Mhm.
that's, I mean, but like the FBI said, the fact that it's in international, like another country that they don't have any jurisdiction, so there's really not a lot they can do, and it's unfortunate that they don't really have any power to do anything if she is, because there's a lot of different theories on did she fall off the boat, did she jump off the boat, was she smuggled off the boat, is she still alive, is she not alive. The
Mhm.
one that
Mhm.
seemed to be most prominent is that she's still alive and being basically held against her will in the
Mhm.
Caribbean somewhere, like, or moved around the Caribbean somewhere, so which is
Yeah.
crazy to think about after 30 almost 30 years, so but
Mhm. Yeah, maybe it would be helpful because I'm sure people are listening that have no idea what we're talking about with this case. So, to give like just a quick timeline. So, the cruise started on a Saturday, the 21st of March, 1998. Then the Sunday, like it talks about them. I'm like reading a timeline, not from the FBI website, just some that someone else compiled. Um, Family was having fun. They listened to a calypso band, like very much were enjoying the cruise. That Monday, the 23rd, was the final night that Amy was seen. Um, Amy and Brad, the brother, attended a dance party and the Calypso band, the Blue Orchid, I think the same one they had seen the night before was performing, and the videographer like had photos and videos of Amy and one of the band members dancing, Alistair, which loops back to one of the theories. Um, and then 3:30 a.m. Brad came back to the family cabin and his key card. I did not know that even back in 1998 they had like the electric key cards that like log the time and everything. I thought that was interesting. But they confirmed his
that's not that, I mean,
what?
they're not that old, like
I don't know. That's when I was born, so I didn't go on a cruise in 1998 to know what the key
well, but
cards were
like
like.
hotels have had those for years too, like it's not,
I don't know the timeline of when things were invented.
But it just was in. They didn't do out though.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But it shows that Amy came 5 minutes later. So, and Brad said that she and him were talking on their private balcony before Brad went to bed, but she had stayed out a little bit longer. So, technically, this is Tuesday now, Tuesday morning. Um, they had seen Amy for the last time. Ron Bradley was the last person to technically see her, I believe.
Mhm.
Um, and then other witnesses, though, reported seeing her on the upper deck, but by 6 a.m., she was gone. So that's kind of the timeline for those who haven't heard this case before. Yeah, there's so many different theories. There was even, did you guys read about, because I can't remember. It's been so long since I watched the documentary on Netflix. But I remember watching a different video. Did they talk about the Scientology thing that the brother Brad was talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what were your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I saw a TikTok about it. And well, I've heard about Scientology stuff on TikTok and how it works and everything. And I think that's like another conspiracy theory that like we could go like a rabbit hole we could go down. because I think it is possible. Like, I'm pretty sure the TikTok I saw, they were talking about how there were like women on the boat who had the like Scientology shirt, and then Brad saw them when they were off the ship or on the island or something, and they saw another ship nearby. So I think, yeah, I mean, I think that could be a possibility. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know.
So
Yeah, it
I
sounded
think
crazy at first, but then yeah, I kept watching. I was like, oh,
so what's the
maybe.
Right.
Scientology theory? Because I didn't hear about this. I just watched the Netflix thing, and they didn't talk about that.
So Brad and Ashlyn, correct me if I get any of this wrong, because it's been a while since I've seen all these videos. But basically, Brad had said that he saw two women that weren't in like the cruise worker outfits, but more like the Scientologist type uniforms, like the knee-length skirt. You know, they have very specific clothes that they wear.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So Brad said that he saw them basically had Amy like cornered, like talking to her.
Yes.
Um, so that's where it stemmed from that,
Hmm.
to my
And like
yeah,
understanding.
people,
in the one that I saw with him, he said that same thing, and he's because they were going back through. I didn't see it in the Netflix one. I actually heard about that Scientology part. That was a new thing for me to hear when he was talking.
Hmm.
But they talked to her for like 45 minutes, and at the time, he
Yeah.
said he didn't know they were obviously dressed different. He didn't know what they were or anything, but found out later that they were with Scientology, and that the like you said, the boat was there. So that was the first I'd heard about that.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's weird. I always try to think of what would the motive be.
hmm
Um, I don't know, like with Scientology, I don't know. It's obviously like a religious group, quote unquote,
Yeah, I don't.
known to be kind of culty,
Yeah,
but I don't know, like, what would their motive be to, single out like one. Well, I don't know.
I don't. I
hmm
don't. I don't really know what their motive would be for anything like that. I think that's one is just like. I think that's one that just kind of
It's
filtered.
weird. It's
It's
like a
one that's just a
weird,
weird thing that happened, and it just got filtered in
yeah.
there because it's a weird thing that happened to a girl that's been missing 27 years. I think is what
hmm
that
Yeah.
is. So I don't. I don't necessarily know that that is
Hmm.
actually anything like because
Yeah.
like
I think, I don't know about you guys. I'm curious to know like what theory you think is most plausible to me. So Kevin already mentioned a couple. Scientology was one. That she fell or jumped overboard was one. That she was basically sold into slavery on one of the Caribbean islands was one. And then another one was she was killed on the ship and like stored in a suitcase, or that somehow she was never found. The one I guess the two I lean more to are she was either killed on the ship or that she was sold into slavery on one of the islands. Because the way that her family was talking about she had just bought a dog, bought
hmm
an apartment, like all of the actions they were describing didn't hint at anything like that she had died by suicide. So to me, that was, except for the Scientology, the least plausible as I was just hearing everything. But I don't know, it's hard because there's no evidence of anything. She just disappeared.
Yeah. We've talked about this before. We don't think she jumped overboard at all. Um, and I think the Netflix documentary kind of like they showed the photos of like the balcony and stuff and like how her shoes were and everything. And the table I think was like pushed up against like the wall or whatever, like the railing. Which could make it look like she did, but that was after like the house cleaner had come in and like cleaned and done everything. Um, so yeah, I definitely do not think that she fell or jumped overboard at all. Especially because like the door was left open and like she had left a shirt on the sofa or chair, whatever was in there, and her lighter was missing and stuff. Like, I don't know. I think that Yellow, the Alistair Douglas guy, definitely played a huge part in I think he smuggled her off the ship for sure.
Yeah.
But I think she was also sold into slavery, like too, with that.
Mhm.
I
you
agree.
put a
I
big
agree. There's
gotta put
nothing
a
that,
big letter across this whole screen that says allegedly right now. Just
Yeah.
Allegedly.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Um, just so we
Yeah,
don't get
Kev's our legal guy. He
just
always
so
has
we
to
don't
throw the allegedly over the things I say.
just so
So.
we don't just so we don't get sued. Not that I think we could get sued, but just so we don't get sued. Okay.
If
Anyway.
anyone's listening, we have $0 and make no money off this podcast, so don't sue us.
Anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I agree with what she said. I think the suicide, the jumping off thing is just, that's just not an area that I think happened. I just don't think that that was her fate. Plus, two, she was afraid of being so close to the water, and when they were docked or almost docked, the water was so shallow she could have swam. It wasn't like they were in the middle of the ocean where if she jumped off, she was going to have to swim forever. They were almost to port, from what I understand. So I don't think that's an option. And if there hadn't been sightings of her, I might lean towards that a little more. But because there's been sightings, I have a hard time with the jumping off and committing suicide.
Yeah,
I
because also
agree.
the people on the island said too that everything washes ashore. So if she would have jumped, they would have found her body, and they found nothing. They didn't find clothes or anything or like part of her. So yeah, I think that she, because in the morning, it was early in the morning that two girls had seen her and Yellow go up in like an elevator or something. And I remember in the Netflix documentary, it was so interesting because they're like, he's a very like flirtatious person, and like, two girls standing by themselves, like he would go up to them and talk with them. So when they were walking by with him and Amy, like he was obviously talking to Amy, but on his way back, like he just was by himself and his head was down and he was walking quickly, like he didn't even look at them. And they were like, that was really odd because normally he's flirtatious and would flirt and talk, but he didn't do any of that. So I definitely think like he was up there doing whatever with her. Yeah. And the other thing that in the Netflix documentary, the cruise director made me so mad because I feel like he just was not very caring or understanding. And like, even after all these years, like, it's not like, oh, I wish I would have done this differently. It's like, psh, I don't care. And I was like, what in the
Yes, he
like,
threw me off. The
yeah,
opening like line of the documentary, after they do like their things to like catch your attention, but when they actually like start, it shows like him and they play a video of him on the cruise, and the first thing he says, it's not like anything related to the case or sympathetic. He's like, "Oh my gosh, look at me. I look like a baby. Oh my gosh." I was like, "What am I watching? Is this like
right.
you reliving your glory days?" He was saying nothing about anything. So he threw me off for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you about Yellow for sure. And the there were a couple sightings that I was like, I don't know. I mean, people say like, "Oh, I saw you in the grocery store the other day." I'm like, I literally don't leave the house, so that wasn't me. So I know things happen all the time. So there were some sightings I'm like, it could have been someone that just looks like her or people trying to find things. But the one sighting just a couple months after, and this was in the documentary, is like a scuba diver or something. And he said Amy was walking down the beach, or who he thinks was Amy was walking down the beach with like a white guy and then a guy that looked like he was a native. And they both did not look his way, the two men, but Amy came like right by him. And he said he noticed the Tasmanian devil tattoo because she has like several really noticeable tattoos. Um, and he said he wouldn't have even thought anything of it if one of the guys wouldn't have like shooed her away and like glared at him. And he said it sticks with him like every day. So that I'm like, that's way different than thinking, oh, maybe I saw her from across the beach or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that
And
lended more credibility.
I just can't imagine if it was her to have tried to reach out to so many people and get
Yeah.
nothing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have chances with people and you think it's gonna pan out, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting help.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know. And like 20 years later, if she's still alive, I mean, how heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first guy was really credible too because I'm pretty sure he was the one that helped like make the website or keeps up with the website, and is still in contact with the family. The Navy SEAL guy one, I was so frustrated with that one because he was like, yeah, she came up to me and said she needed help, but I wasn't really supposed to be there, so I didn't help her. It's like putting his own
Yeah.
wants and needs before helping someone. And he said like girls do that all the time where they say things. But it's like, okay, what if every one of those girls needed help? Like did
Hmm.
you help any of them? And then the
Yeah.
the other witness, the one in the bathroom, I think if that one is true, where she really did see her, that one's interesting because she said she heard her say, "Do we get to see the kids?" So that is like
Hmm.
a whole nother conspiracy or like
Yeah.
rabbit hole you could go down. Is
Mhm.
like so many theories I'd heard on TikTok was that um if she did end up having kids, like maybe she is staying on the
Hmm.
island to protect her kids and to be
Yeah.
with
I
them.
mean, that's
Mhm.
known cult behavior is to force them to have kids because then
Mhm.
they have no reason to try and escape or go against, whoever is keeping them captive. Yeah. Oh, how
And who's to
sad.
say she hasn't been threatened? Her family hasn't been
Hmm.
threatened, or her children, or then she's like, I'm choosing to do this not because I don't want to go home, because I'm trying to protect them. I'm trying to save them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And that's like a theory that I kind of I think lean more towards because the website gets visits on like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and especially the one that like really stuck out to me was the mom's birthday because who
Hmm.
is visiting like the Amy Bradley's missing website or whatever it's called
Hmm.
on that the mom's birthday like every
Yeah.
year and doing that on like these family holidays and like I don't know. That's
It's
the
too
other.
specific.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I know we talked about it kind of at the beginning where like the FBI doesn't really have jurisdiction, but I'm like they can track at anything. So I'm like if they could get permission or they could figure out a way to like I think they would be able to track it and figure out where it's coming. Like I mean they know it's coming from that area,
Hmm.
I think, or I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, I would, okay, this is me watching like Law and Order SVU and then extrapolating from there. But you can work with, even if you don't have jurisdiction, you can work with the agencies that do.
mhm.
So, but is it a thing of they don't have the manpower, they don't have the budget, they don't have just the willingness to do it? I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is for them not, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. The other
Because I
thing,
don't think this has been declared a cold case. So like,
No,
mm-mm.
I think it's still active on the FBI
yeah.
list.
So theoretically, I mean, granted, I don't know anything about the FBI. I talk as if I know them. They should have the budget and manpower to do this, but I don't know.
Well, like in Criminal Minds, they're like the FBI or whatever, and they solve like one every episode. But I heard that the FBI only actually solves like two a year or something.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's a little different than what we see on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
100% Criminal Minds is
yeah,
misleading. I
yeah.
love
Yeah,
Criminal
I
Minds
had
though.
no idea. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, I mean they
I
solve
know. I
cases,
learned
but
that it's like the statistic is like 43%. It's like 43 to 47. It's somewhere, it was less than 50% of all homicides across the country are solved, much less like I don't even know what the FBI specific stats are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and the longer it goes on, like the less likely it is to be solved too. Like
Yeah.
it just goes
Mhm.
downhill. Yeah, I don't think she's I don't think she. Well, I mean, at this point, she may be dead. I don't know, but I think she was. I think she was like sold into human trafficking or something off the boat. Like I
Mhm.
just don't. I think there's too many people that claim to have seen her to for her to not be alive or have been alive at some point. I think as far as the like having her have died on the boat and everything, I mean, they said they do that basically that bomb check on the boat and check every nook and cranny of that boat. I don't think they're gonna miss something like And I know that I know that they say that, like, there was the lady on there that's like, oh well, they can do whatever they want because they're in international waters, and I'm like, yeah, but they also don't want to get sued, like because they can lose a lot of money and a lot of credibility if they do that. So like, there is a lot of stuff on the line if they screw something up. So they're like, I don't I don't think the company is trying to be malicious in instances like this. I think they also do know that there is other people trying to have a vacation and they can't just stop
Yeah.
in a situation like this. Like, but
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that they can't. But
Well, and that's like the one thing, like the security checking or whatever, the thing that got me was that the crew members checked their own
yeah,
cabins.
that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why the crew
Well,
So
members check their own cabins.
that defeats
Yeah.
the whole purpose because
Yeah,
one of the crew
literally.
members did it. So it's like, and then the other thing, like I don't think it would have bothered. I mean, you have some people, but to make an announcement, like the cruise director was like, I'm not even making an announcement. I think they could have at least made an announcement. And like obviously they can't stop the whole ship and do everything like that. Like I do get because there are other people. But the fact that he wouldn't even get on and be like, hey, this woman is missing. And I
Because
think
they would do it if it was a minor. And
that's
I
what I
know
was
that
about to
she was
say.
23 and
Yes.
an adult, but still it's a missing person,
Right.
that if the
Well,
whole family's like,
I
our
think they
daughter's
did.
missing,
I
but
think they did make an announcement. They just didn't want to make
like
an
the
way
announcement
children.
at
later
Yeah.
though,
7
right?
Two
a.m.
days later or something.
Right.
Yeah, it was way later.
I know
And we
because
hope that they would do it for a minor. The way they operated, didn't want to
Yeah.
interrupt anybody's vacation.
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really
Yeah.
wish they would have been able to make the announcement and stuff before anyone got off because I
Mm-hmm.
like the other thing was that Yellow had gone up to Brad and had said, "Hey, I'm really sorry to hear about your sister." When
Mm-hmm.
at that point, only security knew. And it's like, why would security be telling a band member about the things that are going
Mm-hmm.
on? So it's like, how did you know that information?
Yeah.
And I remember Brad in like an interview, I don't know if it was the Netflix one or something else, but I think he regrets like not asking, like, wait, what do you mean? Like, and asking more information about it because in that moment he was all over the place, which
Mm-hmm.
understandably, but like, I don't know. I think that's like a dead giveaway for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
his
Agreed.
interview too, I saw that they interviewed him and he lied several times. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, I went to bed at 1 a.m., but there's footage of them dancing till 3:30." And then he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, someone knocked on my door and told me she was missing at 6 a.m." And it's like, how did they do that? Because the only person who knew at that time was the dad. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely
He was the most sketchy. And whether or not like people are trying to make him seem that way, or the evidence actually is saying, or well, I say evidence, quote unquote, the sightings and interviews and things are actually pointing, he definitely seems like the most sketchy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and for him, he's the last person basically to see her alive. He's going to be prime suspect in something when you are the last person to see somebody alive.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not to mention the his wife or girlfriend found all those pictures of those women and his own daughter doesn't even believe him. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah.
think that that's very telling. Like the people closest to you in your life don't trust you. And like we're supposed to believe you when you say all this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. 100% agree. Yeah. The last thing so you both have mentioned like things that make you mad throughout this. The last thing that made me frustrated, it was in 2010. Um, a human jawbone washed ashore in Aruba. And they originally linked it to like a different case, but they never did DNA testing and they declined to do DNA testing, which like even in 2010, DNA testing was not, like some new thing. It had been around for, when did DNA testing? It was in the late 90s that they really started really doing DNA testing and at a high like technological level. So 2010, Aruban authorities definitely should have been able to, I don't know, it would have been nice to say either way, it's probably not her, but now we're 100% sure that it's tied to this other case because it just, I don't know, they declared her legally dead, like I think it's like 12 years to the day after her disappearance, but I don't know, a human jawbone washes ashore and you just say, oh, we think it's from this case. We're not
Well,
gonna.
I think they did test it because at the time in Aruba, Natalie Holloway's case was she was missing at that time too, and
Mhm.
they, I believe, used dental records for her case to eliminate it being her. Yeah, I saw that too, and I
Mm.
couldn't find anything to say whether it was tested or not. I was
Tested like for
hopeful to,
Amy.
yes,
Yeah.
because it's like, well,
Hmm.
at least either way, if it was or wasn't, then you could support
Hmm.
whatever claim, which could kind of
Yeah,
give clarity on one. It's going to eliminate, if that was
exactly.
hers, then you would know some answers. I couldn't find anything about that either.
Yeah, that was one of those things that I was like, I don't know why. I don't know why this didn't happen. Is it different jurisdictions? Is it, bureaucratic issues, which is so frustrating.
Well, the interview that I was watching with the brother, he had said he wished he thought Netflix did a good job, but he wished it would have been like 6 episodes because there was a lot of information that they were not able to share, do because
Mm,
it was just a 3 episode. So I wonder if they would have mentioned some of these things that didn't get
yeah.
talked about.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think from the Netflix, like it blew up it blew up. And so he made a TikTok account and people like are like, from that area, like I'm gonna, look into it, I'm gonna check it out, sort of thing. And yeah, I mean I would love to know what happens or like what happened. Especially for like the parents because,
Yeah.
they have all her like they have her car and they're like, when she
Hmm.
comes back. And then I think the other like heartbreaking thing was that Brad never had a family because he wouldn't want to go through
Mhm.
what he's gone through with his sister. And
Yeah.
like that's just so sad. Just
It is so sad. Yeah. And I just kept coming back to because everyone has their different theories. I even like searched Reddit to see like what are other people saying about the documentary, about other evidence, different things. And overwhelmingly, okay, at least from what I was reading, overwhelmingly on this, thread, which it was a pretty popular thread. There were like thousands of replies, but overwhelmingly people on there thought she jumped. And I just kept going back to, but I don't understand why. Like no one that has adopted a dog, bought an apartment, it just doesn't
mhm.
click to me. But yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I feel like there's half and half on TikTok. Like I'd be scrolling and I'd find someone that totally agreed with mine. And then I'd see
Hmm.
one that's like, she jumped. This is
Hmm.
why, like, this is why I think that. And like, I'll listen to it and I'll be like, oh, okay, but no, like,
Yeah.
I just don't think
Yep.
so. Like, I just can't see that happening at all. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's my life motto. Okay, but no.
Well, and the other thing, oh my gosh, I just remembered this too, was that at the dinner, they had taken, like, people were looking at her and watching her, and they didn't think anything of it. But when Brad and Amy took a picture together, they're like, oh, your boyfriend? She's like, no, that's my brother. And I think like that's in that moment, they were like, okay, this is our girl
Hmm.
because as of like if they were boyfriend girlfriend, he's going to be a lot more protective than like, oh, you're just my brother, like you're going to go do
Hmm.
whatever you want. And then the pictures were gone and someone took the pictures, so it's like I definitely think that he like Yellow was a part of some trafficking ring, and
Hmm.
that's how he was. I don't know, there's too many things that line up for her to
Yeah,
have just jumped or fallen off, like
I
yeah.
totally agree. Hmm. It's so hard being a woman in this world, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not my fault, I promise.
I feel like on this podcast, like 80% of the time is just Kevin apologizing for being a man.
I try not to be involved in those types of things, so it's
Yeah.
oh
Well, I
yes.
want to know unless you guys have anything else like on Amy Bradley specifically.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. I want to know, because you guys said you love true crime, or well, Kevin told me you guys love true crime.
Mhm.
One of you had mentioned this question too. What got each of you into true crime?
Mom, you go first.
Well, as a kid, I would watch Unsolved Mysteries. That was what was on for me. My my mom would always watch like the Datelines in 2020s, but as a kid, I could never finish those because they came on later and I would always fall asleep, but I couldn't finish those. But Unsolved Mysteries is what got me. And then we had these little 1 minute mystery things, books. This I don't even know who wrote them, but you could solve these little mysteries in a minute. And they were just short stories and they're like, who did this? Or, you'd read something and like who was the culprit or whatever. And I loved those. I loved those. So that's kind of how I got into crime shows or crimes. And then as I got older, then podcasts. And if you'd have told myself, my little kid self, hey, there's going to be a time when you could hear all about this anytime you want and listen to it, I'd have been like, no way, really? Not once a week for an hour?
Yeah.
So that's how I got started.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I had her go first because I feel like she's the one that got me into it because we would, like spend time together and stuff. And she's like, oh, I remember specifically, she's like, come watch this with me. Come watch this with me. And it's Dateline or whatever. We really liked the Joe Kinda. Is that what it's
Joe
called?
Kenda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like our favorite one that we watched. And it was just a 30-minute thing. But I think he was based in like Colorado Springs or something. And so we watched him a lot. And then obviously like as I got older, um, I read like a few books and like really podcasts is what I got into, especially like on trips with my friends and like with my boyfriend and stuff. Like we listened to a lot of Murder with My Husband podcast and then Crime Junkie. And he showed me some, but yeah, that is like the thing. Like anytime we go on a trip or visit family, like that's what we do. And so I just love learning about it. And I feel like, yeah, I don't know, it's just so interesting. And I love
Crime
hearing
Junkie
about
is mine.
yeah, and I can always guess who did it. I mean, it's glaringly obvious most of the time. And because like my mom and I, we watch so many, I feel like so many people make mistakes and stuff. Like, I don't know. I like listening and being like, okay, that was mistake number one. This is what they did. What
Me
they
too.
should like, I'm like, I can break it apart and I can tell you exactly
Yeah.
what you did wrong because I know like just small things that I'm like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting to me. And yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way with like breaking it down and figuring out things they did wrong or like saying that's your mistake. I know for sure I have texted Kevin multiple times like this thing just happened and I think someone's trying to kill me. Like one day there was like a torn in half UPS drop off receipt left at the door and there was like white powder on it. I was like, Kevin, someone's trying to kill me. And then I scanned the QR code, which then I learned you're not even supposed to do that, but it was actually my package.
Yeah,
It just like the other half blew away in the wind or something. And the white powder was freaking spider web. So I'm like, okay, I must be like really paranoid.
You're watching too
That,
much
like
true
someone's
crime.
gonna drug me or something.
Oh yeah. My mom, she has made me so like that's the other thing with this is like it's just being on the lookout. Like I'd rather be overly cautious than not care.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
Especially as a young woman.
yeah, I just always assume the worst. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna assume that, like when I was in college and I lived downtown and my apartment, my mom did not like where I lived, but because it was just like you walk outside and then you're outside, like you open the door and there's everyone and anyone could walk through the area. So anytime I would go into my apartment at night and there would be like a guy walking, like I'm going as fast as I can because I'm not about to get kidnapped. Even if like they move to the other side, I'm like, okay, no, so I'm still gonna be cautious
And she's
I'm
always
the
saying,
same
it's
way.
because of you that I can't, I think, if I'm driving and I see a parked van, like I won't even park there. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Don't.
yeah. And there's like, I don't know, there's things that I see, I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then, but I'm like, is that really weird? Or am I just overthinking because that's how my mom like
Yeah.
programmed me, you know? Like, I just don't like
Yeah.
immediately getting in the car, locking the door. Like, I remember when I was learning to drive, she's like, what'd you forget? You forgot to lock the door. Blah, blah, blah. Like, just
Oh,
stuff
yes, I
like
do that.
that.
And it
Where like
makes
men, they don't
Casey,
have to think about that. Like,
yes.
they're gonna be,
Oh, I
yeah.
get so mad at my husband because he will like go into Quick Trip or something and I'll be in the passenger seat. I lock the door immediately when he goes in
Mhm.
because I'm supposed to not leave the door unlocked if I'm sitting in the car by myself and the driver's seat is open. But he gets mad because he comes back out and he's like shaking the door because I forget to unlock it. I'm like, hey, I would rather you yell at me than get kidnapped. So
Exactly.
yeah, they
Exactly.
just don't have to think about these things. Yeah. No, all growing up too, my dad is a police officer. So I feel like I always had the like at a restaurant, he always had to sit looking at the door. Like he's very observant. Like the first time he met my now husband, he walked in and Casey's dog was there and his dog is a white paw. He's like, "Hi, your dog has a white paw." And I'm like, "Okay." So I just grew up with that like observant, not paranoia, but he just always knows what's going on. So there was that. But then like what actually got me into true crime, well, first, when I was little, I read all the Nancy Drew books that were in the library. So I loved those, read every single one. Um, but really it was my grandma because she would watch SVU, which is still my favorite show, Criminal Minds, NCIS, like she watched, that's all she watched 24/7. Um, and so I was watching those in like elementary school and it just continued. So that's what got me into it.
So, Kevin, I have a question for you. I
Yep.
know you have been on a cruise.
Mm-hmm. Couple.
How many? Yeah, two,
Uh,
two cruises.
4.
Oh, four.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would something, I don't know that you would have even thought about it, but would you, before going on one, if you heard about something like this happening, would that make you think twice about going?
Um, it made me think about it on here, like watching this, but it didn't make me think so much for me. It made me thought of if I was going with somebody else.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not as concerned about me because I'm a, large person and not going to be very easy to throw around somewhere or do much to. So, I'm not usually not as concerned with myself as I am somebody else. But yeah, it made me think about it for sure. But,
I can just imagine someone like that you don't know walking up to you and like trying to be weird, and you're just like, "What are you doing?"
uh
I just feel like you would take none of it.
yeah, so I mean, I've been on a couple Royal Caribbean cruises. I mean, I've never had any issues on any of them. Been on a Carnival cruise and a Disney cruise. Never had any issues on any of
Mhm.
them. But that doesn't
Have you
mean
guys ever been
it
on
doesn't haven't
cruises?
happen. No.
No,
No.
and I
Mhm.
wouldn't.
I've only been on one. I was little. I think I was 12 and my brother was 9. And it was a carnival cruise. And my parents just let us go into like the kiddie groups. They had like, not teachers, but like glorified nannies or
Hmm.
whatever that had like 10 kids per person or whatever. So like we didn't see our parents for several hours at a time. And I was just like looking back, I don't have kids, but if I did, I don't think I would do that. I
Mhm.
don't know, it's scary to me.
Yeah. Well, so my boyfriend, he wanted to go on a cruise, and after watching this, absolutely not. Um, I well, and the poop cruise one came out at the same time. Did you see that
Hmm.
Yeah.
on Netflix? So
Yeah.
between the Amy Bradley and that one, I was like, I'm not so sure. And especially like hearing people talk on TikTok about how like you don't need a background check to go on a cruise. Like there could be so many weirdos going, and I was thinking things about like, okay, what if we're together? Like it's just him and I have to go to the bathroom or he has to go to the bathroom. Like I don't just things like that where we might be separated. I'm like, I just don't think I would ever want to be by myself. Like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
already am anxious. I have anxiety. I would not want to be alone on this
I
boat.
mean,
Like, just,
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
okay, here's the thing. I understand that, but having like being the only person on the group of here people that has like remembers being on a cruise, you're
Yeah.
never alone. Like
Mm.
think about it as like if you go to the mall and he has to go to the bathroom and you're sitting on a bench. There's anywhere from 5 to
But people disappear from
7,000
malls all the
people.
time, so
Yeah,
you
but
just proved
it's
your own
not.
point wrong,
It's nah,
Kevin.
I don't. No. I
Yeah,
mean,
there were people around when Amy Bradley went missing, and we don't know where she's
Mm-hmm.
at.
yeah, but it's
And what if, like, my thing too is like, there's security cameras and a lot of things now that, like, I wish they had back then. But
Mm-hmm.
what about those nooks and crannies? Like, what if there's like a bathroom around a corner and like, I'm thinking like, okay, what if a man goes in there with a suitcase, knocks me out, put me in? Like stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that where it's like, I'm
again,
thinking the worst
this is what I tell
because,
Nikki all the time. You've been watching too much true crime.
oh yeah, yeah. See, that's where my
Well,
mind goes. And
and
everyone's
to
like,
your
what?
point, Ashlyn, I do feel like with today's technology, they would have more information. If that
Mhm.
it happened today, they would definitely have more information on the case for
I think
sure.
like I think if something happened, they would be able to solve it or know what happened. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would never want to be in that position. Not to say that I wouldn't do it. I don't know. I think I would really have to do my research, and I think I would want to not just be two people, maybe more. So,
Yeah, I would go with a group. I would go on a like nicer, like save to do like a pricier trip. I don't know. Something that do everything in a way that I would feel more comfortable.
yeah.
Mhm.
Just
I would
because
not
you're
do one at all.
yeah.
Period. Not
I only
not
want to go to
no.
Alaska. That's it. Or do like the
Okay.
Alaskan
Uh-huh.
canal.
The
Like that
Northern
looks
Lights.
so pretty.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's it. I have no desire to like go to Aruba or anything like that
Oh yeah. No.
on a cruise.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
because you're spending more money doesn't mean you're actually getting a different cruise. Like you're still with the same type of people and stuff on. Like it's the
No,
same
but you
people that
can
are
pay for like better rooms and like a better area. I don't know.
it's
So there's like less.
you're all on the same floating boat. It's only so
Yeah,
big.
that's true.
It's just
Yeah.
a boat. So
Hmm.
okay, I have a question, Amanda. Is there a certain like you're very adamant about no cruises?
Yep.
Was that because of this, or was that
No,
before? Okay, so
before.
what's the reason behind no
I'll give
cruises?
you I'll give you one word that
Okay,
I always say,
okay.
and you'll know why. Titanic.
Oh well, I mean,
That's what I'm
yeah.
afraid of. I'm afraid of it sinking. Like even before all
Okay.
this, I'm afraid of something happening and you don't know, and I'm afraid of you thinking you're in the middle of the ocean, and
Yeah,
that's what I'm afraid of.
well, the Titanic is hubris though. Like that's kind of like that's also one of those things. I don't think that doesn't really happen anymore. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
understand.
I don't want to be on the ship where
I
something like
understand.
that does happen.
I
I
Yeah,
understand.
don't want to
people
be the
say
person
airplanes
that
don't crash anymore, and they do. So
Well, you're still safer flying in an airplane than you are driving a car. So,
yeah.
like I don't remember when was the last cruise ship sinking. It was in it hasn't been that long ago. It was in
It was a couple of
Italy.
years ago in like Spain or something,
No, it
right?
was in
Off the coast
Italy.
of Europe.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was in
Italy.
Italy,
Yeah.
I think.
Didn't the
The
boat just like tip
The
over?
Costa
yeah, in the
Concordia.
waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah.
hit the captain was stupid and ran it into a reef too close to land where he wasn't supposed to be.
There you
Wow.
go.
But
That's what I'm talking about.
but most ships won't do that. Most captains are smarter than that. That guy's in jail now. One and two. Most ships can actually like recover from that nowadays. Like I remember one of the ships we were on, they said could list up to 45 degrees and recover, which means it could tilt to 45 degrees and still recover before it would actually like roll. So
Well, and that's just one of my things. Like not here that long ago with COVID, there's everybody gets it and you're on the ship and nobody's letting you
Mhm.
go anywhere because you're all sick and infected. No
Yeah,
thanks.
or
No thanks.
norovirus is like the most recent one I saw just the other day of a
Yep.
cruise ship
yeah,
infected with norovirus.
I mean that does happen. I give you that. That happens because you got a bunch of people on a small area and one person
Mhm.
gets sick and everybody gets sick. Like you get an outbreak and it happens. But
Well, and then you add the possibility of all the things. It's like, no, no, thank you. I'll pass. Thank you, but no.
That's fine. I don't blame you. Hey, you do you.
I think if I were to go, it's going to be the Alaskan cruise, and it's going to be in like the off season when they're giving discounts because not anyone wants to go, and so it won't be full, and that's when I'm going to go.
Mhm.
An
One of
Alaskan
my
cruise would be cool
friends
to
did
do.
one. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Did
No.
you say something, Kevin?
Oh, I just said an Alaskan cruise would be cool. That would be one of
Oh.
my ones that I
Yeah,
would want to go to.
yeah, it would be
Yeah.
cool.
One of my friends did one. Like I saw her post on TikTok and I was like that I'm like, okay, I would do that, I think.
Hmm.
But again, I'd got it. Would want to be with more people and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a okay, but no moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, are we done with that? Is it time for facts? Is that what we're to now? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Well, I don't have like a fun fact. It's just a fact, like a
That
personal
works.
fact about me. So I told you that I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries. Well, when I was a kid, that the guy on there, I thought they just got like some scary guy to do it because he kind of scared me a little bit with his, voice, and he was kind of scary. And the music was super spooky. And I didn't tell people when I was a kid, that scared me a little bit, because it did watching it as a kid, and I would never watch the show if I happened to be alone. I would never watch Unsolved Mysteries by myself because I'd be too scared. And so it wasn't until much later in life, until I was an adult, that people my age would be like, "Man, that show scared me as a kid, that music." And I thought, "Yeah, okay, good. I wasn't just a scaredy cat. It was scary to people my age, and we just didn't say anything because we were afraid of getting made fun of."
That's funny.
uh, oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I. Hey, I don't. What was the other one that was like? Yeah. I don't. I can't think of it right now.
I
But
couldn't. So, Ashlyn, you would probably know this. Kevin, you would probably know this. Mina, I don't know if you would know this or not. Courage the Cowardly Dog terrified me.
oh, I
I
get
don't know
that.
if anyone.
I can understand that.
It was so scary. Oh my
Ashlyn
gosh, I
may be
couldn't
too
watch
young
it.
to remember that, but I remember Courage the Cowardly Dog when it came out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna have to go watch like clips of
We'll
it.
look it
It's
up.
like
Yeah.
the
yeah, we will.
weirdest, freakiest, like whoever made this show for kids was, well, they probably were high, but they were definitely high because it's like not, it's like the worst, scariest show.
Yeah.
It still scares me now. Like I
Yeah.
still won't watch it. Yeah.
It was one of the
Anyways.
Cartoon Network
So I get the
originals
whole being scared of
Oh.
a show when you're
when they
little
started
thing.
making originals early on. Like it was
Mhm.
one of the first originals with like Dexter's Laboratory and stuff like that. The Courage the Cowardly Dog was one of those.
Mhm.
So, but it was like a horror cartoon, which was like
Yeah.
yeah, it
It's a
was
very
It
weird
works.
yeah,
concept.
it
Yeah.
did. It was there were some scary ones on there, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, Ash, do you have a fact?
I didn't come with one, but I was thinking about like how like something I learned like watching true crime documentaries that I always think is interesting is um when you like when someone who you know and cares about, like if you were to kill them, a lot of times they will cover them up with like a blanket or a pillow or something that's nearby, because they're like remorseful. So anytime, like I learned that in one of like on an episode of whatever. So anytime that I'm listening to a podcast and they talk about like the murder and like the layout and what was happening, and they like their face was covered up, I'm like, oh, okay, so it's either the
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend or the wife, or oh, I'm blurring in and out, sorry. It's someone that they know and their family, because it's just, I just think that whole psychology behind it is just so interesting. Like I could listen to people talk about it for days. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the psychology of true crime is fascinating, and trying to figure out why people are the way they are is
mhm.
interesting. Mhm.
Yeah.
Kev, what's your fact?
Mine had to do with the podcast, or to do with the episode. So, I decided to look up how many people actually go missing on cruises every year.
Me too. I asked Alexa that.
Yeah, according to the Cruise Line International Association, around 20 to 25 people go missing on cruise lines every year from man overboard incidents. Now, that is generally due to man overboard incidents. So those could be malice. Those could be people actually throwing somebody overboard on purpose, or people just getting drunk and falling overboard, which is relatively hard to do because, like the FBI dude said on the thing, like when you're standing up to the railing, it's like up to my chest, and I'm 6 foot tall. So they're not like super easy to do, but because you're in international waters, there's not necessarily a lot that anybody can do because it's it's a cruise line. Like, they are what they are, and a lot of countries don't cooperate with police, so you're kind of SOL. Also, I remember hearing one time when we were on a cruise that if you fall overboard, one, you have a very likelihood of being sucked under the ship and into the propeller, which is going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Two, if you do survive, which, depending on how high you are and how far you fall, is another whole thing, because some of those things are like 20 stories tall. It can take like an hour to turn the ship around and get back to you. So it can take a while for them to even get to you if they have the time. So, like, or if they notice you. So, I mean, it's not a good thing to fall off the boat. Let's just say that. Just don't fall off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the little girl that fell off the Disney one and the dad jumped over and got her?
Yeah, I did. And then they sent out one of their little lifeboats and picked them up, I think, yeah.
Oh, I
Which
did.
I'm not surprised that the dad would jump off of the boat. Like, that doesn't surprise me. Like,
Well, and I don't
think a
know how
parent
she
would.
fell. Like, I think they said that the dad, well, I don't know well, Mom, do you know? I heard
Yeah,
that.
they said she was playing and there must have been
Okay,
a small hole like for a pipe or something, and she was just small enough
to fit
to
through.
walk over, and when she walked over, she just was small enough to fall through.
Yeah.
The dad was watching her. She, went out and he jumped over the thing and swam to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some
Mhm.
places where I could see that happen. Like, there are some places where there's, like, little tiny gaps and things in railings for, piping, or, where the lifeboats and things are, that I could see that
Mhm.
happening. But for the
But I'm
most
glad they
part,
were
there's
able to get them
yeah.
because, like, I saw the video and I'm like, if you, like, they were lucky that someone saw them because, like, when you see the video, you're like, oh my gosh, like, you really have to be looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just, like, camouflage in
Mhm.
with the waves almost.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's very,
That was a good idea.
it doesn't have, like, that's why a lot of people don't even get noticed when they fall. Like,
mhm.
unless somebody
Well, it also
sees
makes
them.
me think, so you said like 20 to 25 people a year, then I start thinking about the case we just talked about, how much of that is disappearing, but they don't know that they're overboard, how much of it is foul play, how much of it is trafficking, how much is like, oh, I saw this person fall off the ship. I
Mhm.
don't
Well,
know.
when I asked Alexa, of course it's the internet, I said, how many people go missing? And
Mhm.
she said 19, but that's a pretty low number compared to the millions of people who take cruises. And I was like, well, ask the 19 people's family how they
Yeah.
feel about that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. 19 too many for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nick, what was your fact for this week?
So it's like kind of a fact, more like life advice. There was so Sergeant Sanford Strong was on Oprah, I want to say in the 2000s, and he wrote a book and things. And I remember seeing this a while back. But he went on Oprah and was just talking about how to survive getting attacked, basically. And so he was saying that if you are ever approached with a gun or a knife or anything, and someone's like, get in the car or come with me here or wherever, he said, you are more likely to survive getting stabbed or shot than taken to a second location. So he said, no matter what, don't go to a second location. So fight, so resist, get shot. I don't care. you're more likely to survive getting shot in the parking lot of a gas station than survive getting dumped in the middle of nowhere where no one is around to see you. And so he went on to say, like, it's, there's could be witnesses if you don't go to a second location, and you retain more control. So some people, they think that because I have a gun, because I have a knife, I have the control, but you can still have control. And it was just really interesting to like watch the clips of it, but don't go to a second location.
I heard that, and I took a self-defense class thing with through my sorority in college, and the one thing that I remember that I was like, that is so interesting was the guy who was doing it. He was like this really buff, strong guy. He had done all these things and was a bodyguard for all these people, and um he chose the smallest girl in our sorority and like picked her up, and then he was like, now I want you to like go limp and like dead weight, and he had trouble lifting her. And so that was one of the things that he said was like, if someone is trying to kidnap you, you just like literally go limp, like dead body weight, like don't just, I don't know. That was just so interesting. And to see that from like the small girl to like this big buff guy, I was like, okay, so yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely still retain some control.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that too. Yeah, I took a class like that too. It was rad. Rape, aggression, defense, I think. It was also a sorority thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've also heard that, like, even if you, one of the things is, like, if they tell you to get in a car or whatever, or drive, to just crash the car and all that kind of stuff, just to, like, there's so many different things you can try to do to protect yourself, or, yeah. But if you, the number one thing is to just don't go if you have any, like, do whatever you can to not go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the safest. Like, no matter what you do, it's always the safest to not go. So,
yeah.
But
it's hard to like keep straight all the different situations where, sometimes they say follow the rules and do what they say. Sometimes they don't. Go limp, scream, don't go to a second location. But being a bank teller, like Kev is and like I was, they're like, follow their directions. Don't go, don't try to resist. Don't whatever, blah, blah.
until they try to take you until they try to take you away. And then they're like,
and then
they're
limp.
like, do whatever you have to do to not leave the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But I think that is it for this week, unless anybody has anything else. But yeah, thanks Ash and Amanda for coming on. This was fun.
Thanks for having us.
I hope you guys had fun as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you guys enjoyed this. If not, then we don't want to hear from you. But give us a comment below and let us know what you want to hear us talk about next time, and we'll get to it, because we don't have that many good ideas. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.